This year has been a lot. 2 half marathons, 1 full marathon, learning Portuguese, visiting my 3rd and 4th countries, Brazil and Costa Rica. Lots of salsa dancing. I revamped the podcast, trained a lot of Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, more Jiu-Jitsu, and I started vlogging. So let's start. In January, I had a lot of fun. I was training with friends, running with them constantly, doing a lot of ice baths and prepping for the full marathon. This is where the run clubs and all that social media craze within running started vamping up. I also got a job in a development firm, and this was my first big boy job. I was promised $80K out of college. It was pretty exciting and had a lot to look forward to, but I didn't know what was about to happen 2 months later. During this time, I was networking with employers, getting more involved in the real estate center at the University of Texas. I was running a lot, taking care of my health a lot, focusing on diet, health, and just more so on running rather than jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai. I had also been doing 75 hard during this time, which leads me to February. I finished 75 hard a couple days before the marathon. It was kind of cool, saw a lot of progression within my body. Then, the marathon. Picture this, lights, fireworks, bands, people screaming, and it was amazing. You're running with your friends all over Austin. You have people cheering you on. You have the excitement of the crowd kind of gearing you in. Then, it gets quiet. There's hardly any more people because most people signed up for the half marathon. There was people holding bananas, but for the most part, the last 8 miles were gonna be a mental battle between you and the race. I was getting cramps from the arches of my feet to my calves, quads, and even glutes. I stopped to stretch for a little bit. I was tired. It was a 100-foot incline again at the final mile. People were starting to cheer me on, my cramps were kicking in, and I couldn't stop. I had the 4-hour pace group chasing me. They were seconds behind me, and I was trying my best to get it done. I see the finish line and I start sprinting for it. I got it done and I was super happy. I was excited because I had a lot of people telling me that it was almost impossible with the amount of mileage that I had been putting in for my marathon training. I have never sweated so much. I had salt coming out of my eyes. March, soul searching, my first time ever paintballing. I started practicing my handstands and I went to my 3rd country ever, Costa Rica. Within Costa Rica, I stayed at my first hostel, showed tourists how to dance salsa, swam at the beach, conversed, made new friends, went to concerts, was there at their cultural festivals, saw all different representations from all different countries of Latin America at these festivals. We went to nightclubs and we also saw the craziest people there. Then I got lost in the middle of nowhere. Me and my friend Cynthia missed a critical bus that was gonna take us to the mountain of Monte Verde. So we just had another bus go in the direction of the city. We missed the bus. We had a taxi driver who was freaking insane, dude. He went driving off-road for us. He did the most he possibly could to try to get us there on time, but we didn't make it there on time. We got a ferry. We danced with a couple of people from Switzerland while we were waiting.
And then as soon as we got it off the ferry, we booked it. We got a taxi. They were all like $30.
Yeah.
And then we paid that taxi $30 to try to get to the stop that we thought the bus was going to be at, and when we got there, they told us that the bus had left like 40 minutes ago.
Yeah. However, it was nighttime, the sunset was pretty low, and I was pretty confident in my jiu-jitsu skills. However, I am in a foreign Latin country. It's nighttime, so we don't know what's gonna happen on this highway. And I have an injured foot. I could barely even walk. I was limping everywhere and it was pretty hard to feel safe. The bus driver told us this was as far as we could go in relation to how close we could get to the city. So we looked outside and it was a gas station in the middle of nowhere. The clerk inside was telling us that it would be tricky to find a ride, but hopefully one of the tourist vans outside would have mercy on us and hopefully let us ride with them. Then we saw a tourist van appear. Rocio was here to save us. With a limp, I sprinted as fast as I could, running towards the van and waving them down, and they finally stopped. Here I met Rocio. She was a little bit hesitant to try and help us. Reason being, her boss did everything to the T, and they had not gotten payment from us.
Muchas gracias, estamos bien perdidos. Yo pensaba que nos íbamos a quedar aquí y luego será noche y no sé qué íbamos a hacer.
Es peligroso.
Sí, oí.
Sí, es peligroso. No es una hora apta para hacer ride.
Sí. Muchas gracias.
So, she finally agreed to let us on, reluctantly. We had to pay her boss $10 to basically let us onto the bus. She said, "I'll take you out of the goodness of my heart." She took us all the way to Monte Verde and said, something similar has happened to me, and I'm glad that God was able to help me during this time. Here it is in her words versus mine.
Mi esposo tenía muchas deudas. Estaba en mi último mes de embarazo y no había comida. Mi esposo llegó y dijo, yo tengo fe. Algo va a suceder. 11 de la mañana llegaron unas personas a mi casa y se presentó y dijo, soy pastor de una iglesia. Sentimos el deseo de traerles un diario para que se ayuden. Y nos trajeron un diario y 50,000 colones. 50,000 colones son $100. Nada más importante que la fe.
De verdad.
And it was one of the most amazing stories I had heard. Just a true testament on why I believe in God and why I've been believing more in God throughout this year. So the next day we went zip lining, bungee jumping, an overall excursion. Walked through the forest, and I saw what people meant by nature being God's greatest beauty. The next few days were just about Cynthia's friends and experiences. She was in a study abroad program there, and I went to go visit her. So we spent the rest of the time hanging out with her and her friends. We went to San Juan, and it was probably one of the coolest things ever. We were there partying, nightlife, and having just fun. I was talking with locals and just getting a better experience of la pura vida in Costa Rica. I really want to get to the highest points, which was this little mountaintop, and practice some of my photography skills. So after a night of partying, it was 2 a.m, and we asked our Uber driver if he would potentially take us if we just paid him out directly. And he said, sure. Asad's car was not making it through. So we're currently going uphill. Uber driver's hauling butt, trying to get up. It's kind of hard because this hill's so steep. And there I saw one of the prettiest views in Costa Rica.
All right. So we just woke up, or they just woke up. I was enjoying the Uberman conversation. We get to see the entire city. The security guard is letting us enter into the restricted compound.
April, it was pretty cool. Just went back home, finished spring break, and finished school out. Did a lot of the same activities: jiu-jitsu, MMA, dance, running. And May was a little bit of a bittersweet month because I took a year off to try and buy an apartment complex. That means I'm a year behind from my original graduating class. And it was nice, it was sweet, it was cool, but I was saying goodbye to some of the people I had met since I started college. And this leads me to my favorite chapter of the year, June through August, Brazil. I think this chapter of my life needs no introduction. I had met this person at the airport named Neil Zenchi. I stayed at a hostel and ran around the city, was super cautious the first few days. And through this, she helped guide me around the city and helped me learn what were some of the customs and cultures, where I should be careful, how I should take off some of my jewelry, how I should have this leather bag, and not really anything that allowed me to be an easy target to be robbed. After the first few days, I finally met my host mother. And it was pretty cool because Ingrid is I swear, another version of me. We constantly went running, dancing, working out. We both worked in social media. We were very entrepreneurial, religious, and we're constantly seeking to be better versions of ourselves. English was probably the coolest host mother that I could have asked for. My study abroad program had a huge cultural aspect to it. We constantly went to understand the people of Brazil and different facets of Brazilian culture and what it entails. We went to capoeira workshops, went to see historical centers. We were in different cities, churches, saw different monuments, and I saw live performances, did a lot of hiking. I surfed for the first time and went to this cool tourist city named Itacaré. I ran a half marathon, got on my first moto taxi, saw my first soccer game, went to Lençóis La Chapada, went inside cavern, and finally went to Rio de Janeiro. Words cannot describe how impactful this trip was to me overall. It was one of the most culturally dense experiences that I've had, and it was pretty cool. I recorded a lot of the experiences here on the YouTube channel, so if you'd like to check them out, feel free to. But that didn't prepare me for saying goodbye. So it was awesome spending time with them. I still keep in touch with English and my host family and some people from the study abroad program, but for the most part, I'm back to focusing on my life and trying to finish out school strong. So here comes September. Whenever I finished the study abroad program in Brazil, I was at the pinnacle of staying fit, staying lean, and probably the healthiest I've been in my life. Then Rio de Janeiro came. I stopped eating my host mother's food and had to go back to paying for my own meals, which in result made for me losing weight. October through November could be summarized by work, school, the grind, Las Vegas, and the holidays. But one of the most challenging things happened to me here. It was my first ever loss, and it was my grandfather, and it was the person I probably built the closest relationship to that has passed. I've had other family members pass within my family, but this was the first one that really hit home. Someone that I knew on a consistent basis, someone I constantly talked to, and someone who saw me grow up. It was interesting. I still don't know how I've been processing it, and I think with time, I'll probably look back on this time and say, my grandfather was a cool dude, and he probably would have wanted us to celebrate his life instead of mourn. So that brings me to my final month, which is December. I've been doing a 100-day challenge of 100 minutes of job hunting every single day, and that has been kicking my butt. Whenever I first started it, it was my grandfather's passing, it was also finals coming up, it was the holidays coming up, so my schedule has been in and out with it. So I've been carrying this challenge on to the next year, putting pauses in between the holidays, between my family's loss, between interviews, and trying to just focus in on recovery and being the best version of myself so I could show the best version of myself to these potential employers. To be honest, I've been facing a lot of imposter syndrome throughout this year. Everything from school to work to my relationships and me being a good person overall to my faith. It's all been hitting me like a truck all at once. And I thought I had work figured out with my job. Then I got told, hey, it's not really happening anymore. Then I thought I had my relationships figured out. Then I've been called selfish, inconsistent, not able to start relationships but not maintain them. And these things would like get into like my heart and my soul, and it would make me like reevaluate who I am as a person. I've had my patience tested time and time again, but one of the things that I feel like I got better at is putting my faith in God, which I think is probably the biggest win of this year. I love my life and everything about it. The challenges, the difficulties, the obstacles, the perseverance that I've had across multiple goals. And I just want to say I'm really excited for life. I found out that I love my hobbies tremendously, and I like to be selfish with them, but there's also that balance of maintaining selfishness with your hobbies and also providing time towards the relationships you want to build. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to grow a lot, bring people with you. So these are my 2025 goals. This list is not fully completed yet, but here are some of the big goals that are scaring me right now. I want to do 3 marathons and either an Ironman or an ultra marathon. I want to get my job. This one doesn't scare me, but I thought it'd be good to just included. It's floss more and wear my retainer more. My teeth are amazing, except for whenever I don't wear my retainer or floss. And I want to commit to going to church once a month. I have always been really against church, and in growing my faith and just being a better Christian overall, I want to be able to go to church and be in a community with people. I think this is low commitment enough to where I would keep it, and enough frequency to where I would learn something from it. And on that note, I also want to finish the Bible. I am currently on day 50 of a 365-day plan of reading the Bible, and I hope to finish it by the end of the year. And this one is very scary because I don't know how I'm going to do it yet or what I'm going to be even talking about, but I want to do 2 YouTube videos a month. There's many other facets of my life that I want to improve, such as I want to be 185 pounds and fast and cardioed up. But these are the goals that I want to focus on and the top ones that come to mind at this moment. Anyways, I really love this year, and I just want to leave you with a quote by Tim Ferriss. The wealth of information creates the poverty of attention. See you on the next one. Check out some of the YouTube videos that I have created. You get to see my entire study abroad program put into little snippets. I hope you guys get to enjoy that and see a little bit more of me through there. Have a good day. Peace and love.